What's up, everybody? It's me, the X-Man on T. All right. So we're gonna talk about my trip to Boston. We're gonna talk about my Phalloplasty consultation, and we're gonna talk about just my regular medical health. So I flew out to Boston and I wore my Packer for the first time. So I wore I forget what the brand was. Oh, I think it said like Jock something. But yeah, and this will be important later because I went through this scanner, and also this scanner is one, or the location was one that didn't require me to take out my computer to be scanned. And I think that's important as well because I've never actually gone through a security checkpoint where I didn't have to take my computer out of my bag to be scanned separately. And I'm usually not wearing a Packer. The guy said, hey, I'm just gonna pat you down. Let me know if you wanna do this here or in private. And I was like, listen, like y'all done violated my privacy several times. I am super used to it. So right there, you know, he did some weird stuff. The most important thing that he did, he told me to hold up. Let me crouch down a little bit. He told me to hold up my pants. And this is important because I did not realize how hard he would pull. He only used the open parts of his hands. So he went like this, but he was like, and like when he did that, it really pulled. It really did. I was like, whoa, take me out of the date first. But then he goes like this, and then he eventually asked me, he's like, are you wearing something? And I said, I'm wearing a prosthesis. And he was like, oh, yeah, go right on in, have a good day. He didn't want no trouble. He didn't want to smoke. So that was it. And I mean, I'm used to it, but I know a lot of people aren't. So, but on the way back, I will say I was wearing rodeo underwear. And I'm gonna say this because I was wearing the same Packer. And the reason I didn't go off, but this was a security checkpoint that did require me to take my computer out of my bag. And now I'm just giving y'all all the details because I don't really know like if some checkpoints are different than others, have a different... My cat is at the door, I'm sorry. Okay, all right. Yeah, I don't know if some checkpoints have like different capabilities than others, right? But I do know that this pair of underwear felt like it was hugging me closer. And I thought that could be a very valid reason for why it didn't go off. I don't know. Maybe Boston, as we all know, is just more familiar with trans individuals, right? And just accounts for that in some way. I don't know. Couldn't tell you. But all I know is that next time I'm definitely gonna wear rodeo both ways, and then I can update you. All right, so next we're gonna talk about phalloplasty surgery. All right, and I'm feeling in a real good mood because we talked about everything from complications to price. I didn't really get a firm number on price, but I heard that insurance covers it now over the past few years, or it happened a few years ago, at least for Massachusetts, and I just have to pay my deductible. So now we're figuring that out. And of course I have to pay to get laser hair removal. If I were getting a urethral lengthening, I would need to also I would need electrolysis instead. And I think that's because, you know, we need to make sure the hair never comes back if you are getting urethral lengthening, which I am not, because that's where a lot of the complications are involved, apparently. And if you don't feel like it's necessary for you to stand up to pee, then you don't have to get the urethral lengthening. That's never really been my bag. Like, like everybody should sit down to pee. I'm just gonna say it that way. Everybody should. Yeah, so they gave me a bunch of education sheets, and I'm not gonna show the name of the hospital. Unfortunately, they've had a lot of threats, which is just a damn shame now, isn't it? It is just such a damn shame. So I'm gonna try to show this information without showing the name of the hospital, because they've had like stress on their lives. They've needed to increase their security, all because of providing people with the healthcare that they need. And I just want to let everybody know who has problems with trans people transitioning. Trans people are going to transition whether you like it or not, whether you support them or not, whether they have health care or not. So you're not going to get rid of trans people by not supporting their health care. You are getting rid of their health care. Just want to throw that out there. All right, so yeah, I am planning on just getting the phallus. They say you should use your less dominant arm, which for me would be left. However, because I'm a guitar player, and also due to the fact that I do have this like major tattoo here that I want to keep there, I'm going to go with the right arm. For guitar, the left arm does most of the movement, and the right arm just kind of goes like this. And of course, after the skin is grafted, you're going to have a period of time that your hand is gonna have to like kind of get used to moving again. And it's so wild because the last surgeon that I had, he's not doing the surgeries anymore. And apparently it's because of, you know, he's having some issues. Like it's very, like when me as somebody who works computers and phones, I think of like working on iPhones. It's so small and like my hands are too big for it. My hands get so very cramped, you know? So it seems like that's what the issue is. But in the back of my mind, I feel like he's afraid for his life and for his family because of the surgeries that he was doing. And he is amazing, and if he were still doing these surgeries, I would be very confident in the outcome. But as I said, trans people are going to transition whether you support them or not. So you have to look for a new surgeon, and here's hoping that they find one. The skin graft, if you are getting the urethral lengthening and phallus, the skin from the underside of your arm, the side of the pinky, I believe, forms the urethra. And on the outside forms the phallus. And they take from the arm because that has the best outcome, the most sensitive. I did want to take from my leg, thinking that, you know, the scar won't be as visible, thinking that I'll have a larger result, but I've been advised against that. So the average is 5 to 6 inches, and I think that really it depends on like your height, but also like, I guess, your arm length, right? I do notice that I have kind of a longer arm length. I don't know. Lastly, my medical health. As you may know, it's been really difficult for me to keep up with my testosterone. Because of where I am, I'm not really able to find healthcare for trans individuals. Even going to the pharmacy and picking needles is ridiculous. Like, they didn't have the subcutaneous ones. Then I got one that I guess was just way too big, and tried to inject subcutaneously. It hurt like hell. I have a bunch of scar tissue from bad injection. But I went to Boston to figure out this issue with my Testapel. Testapel is about 10 pellets that they inject into your lower back in order to provide testosterone over a period of time, about 3 months. Once I was given the injection, it never dissolved. But I had the injection about 3 times prior. So that last time was with somebody new, and I thought that it was a botched kind of injection. And it's crazy because traveling, you know, doing the work that I do, I wasn't able to get this checked out because these providers who don't work with Testapel, they could now be liable because it's something that they don't know how to deal with. So I had to keep this in my body until I went back to Boston. My provider was worried, but when she saw it, she said that it does seem benign. It seems like my body has had an inflammatory response where it kind of encapsulated the pellets, or my body rejected it. It wasn't put in deep enough to locate, like a bunch of things like that. But regardless, it doesn't seem infected. It just seems like there is like a cyst there, and it's most likely on a nerve, because that's where all the like tingling, pain, radiating, aching on my leg is where a majority of it is coming from. Yeah, now I just have to schedule a biopsy. But the fact that it's been checked means that she can refer me to any general surgeon. So I just feel like my anxiety is much lower on that, thank goodness. Lastly, I was provided vitamin D, which, you know, doesn't seem like a big deal, but in my case, it seems to have been. I was provided 50,000 units of vitamin D. After a few days, the intense, the severe aching in my body, the aching that made me feel like I couldn't get out of bed, like I didn't want to exist, that aching is gone. And I'm not saying that, everything's better now. I'm saying that, like, I can get out of bed and I can like do things. And a big part of it was vitamin D. And I just think that it's out of control. I think it's out of control how simple that was. But I still have a lot of pain in my body. I have an appointment with an arthritis department in like July or August or something. All I know is that it was just way too far. I'm gonna call a few other places and see if they have early appointments, things like that. I basically did everything. I got my labs done. I haven't had my labs done in a super long time. Everything looks good. My anxiety is a lot lower. Now the costs that I have to worry about are electrolysis. I think actually I can get laser hair removal instead. And I only have to get it on the forearm because I'm only getting the phallus. My deductible, the flights out to Boston, and a safety egg for when I am recovering. I want to thank everybody who's donated. I was really feeling low about everything. There just seemed to be way too many complications for me to even I just felt like I was just wasting away. And a few people took it upon themselves to donate, and they helped me so much. At first, it was just seeing that people resonated with me, or maybe my story touched somebody enough, And then I felt like, well, you have to tell these people what's going on. If somebody pays me for something, I feel like I need to provide a very good service. So it's weird to be getting like donations, right? So I felt like I needed to really tell people what's going on. And in doing that, it's helping me figure out what's going on with me. It's helping me compartmentalize these different issues and keep track of them, and keep these receipts. I just appreciate you all so much. Thank you again. It's me, the X-Man. Peace.